They thought a quiet widow in a snowy Montana town would be an easy target. The Mafia boss's son, flanked by two towering bodyguards, cornered her in the freezing dark and kicked her loyal canine into the snow while the men laughed behind him. But none of them noticed the figure watching from the blizzard, a Navy SEAL in green camouflage, stepping in to end the entire encounter before it went any further. Before we get started, tell us in the comments where you're tuning in from. And if you enjoy stories like this one, make sure to hit subscribe so you never miss the next one. Snow fell in heavy, slanting sheets over Briar Ridge, a quiet mountain town tucked deep in northern Montana. The wind carried a cold that felt alive, scraping across rooftops and whispering through pine trees as if the forest itself were warning anyone who dared step outside. It was late evening, and the normally postcard pretty Main Street was buried under 6 inches of fresh snow. The storefronts shuddered early against the storm. That was why almost no one saw what happened almost. Anna, the 32-year-old brown-haired widow wrapped in a thick wool coat, hurried down the sidewalk with her German shepherd pressed close to her side. Ranger, her 3-year-old sable K9, trained privately for protection after her husband passed, trotted steadily, his warm breath puffing little clouds into the white night. The snow clung to his fur, turning him into a moving shadow against the pale street. Anna just wanted to get home before the storm worsened. She had groceries strapped in her arms, and loneliness strapped in her chest, the same loneliness she carried since the accident that had taken her husband. Ranger had become her anchor, her guardian, her last true piece of safety. But tonight, safety wasn't following her. It was stalking her. The roar of a high-end engine sliced through the quiet. Headlights flared too bright, too close before a black luxury SUV fishtailed around the corner, sliding on the ice. Anna jerked backward just in time as the vehicle skidded to a stop inches from her boots, spraying her coat with slush. The driver's door swung open. Nico, the 26-year-old black-haired Mafia heir, wearing an expensive fur-lined parka, stepped out with a swagger that didn't match the freezing air. His father ran half the region's illegal businesses, the casinos, the trucking routes, the protection rackets. Nico, spoiled and volatile, treated the town like an amusement park he owned. And he was drunk. Enough to sway, not enough to slow his cruelty. "Well, look what we have here," Nico said, flashing a grin that didn't reach his eyes. "Little snow bunny out after dark." Anna steadied herself. "Please move your vehicle. There's plenty of road." He took a step closer. Ranger stepped forward too, placing himself squarely between Anna and the man. Nico stared down at the dog. "You bring your mud out in weather like this? What kind of woman does that?" Anna kept her voice even. "A responsible one. Please get back in your car." He laughed and leaned in so close she could smell the expensive whiskey. "You know who I am?" "I don't care who you are," she said. It wasn't bravery, it was exhaustion. Nico's grin vanished. "Well," he muttered, "maybe you should." He suddenly shoved her grocery bag out of her arms, sending apples rolling across the snow. Anna stumbled backward, shocked. Ranger growled, deep and controlled. Nico looked down, eyebrows raised. "What was that?" Ranger growled again, louder now. And Nico snapped. "Shut up!" He barked, and with a sudden, vicious motion, he kicked snow at the dog's face, then swung his boot again, hard, connecting with Ranger's side. Anna gasped, reaching for Ranger, who slid a few inches through the snow, but stayed on all fours, steady and loyal, even under the blow. "Don't you touch him!" she cried, rushing forward. Nico grabbed her wrist. "Lady, this is my town. You don't get to tell me anything." Ranger lunged, not attacking, just positioning himself between Anna and the Mafia heir, barking loud enough to carry across the frozen street. Nico flinched, then grabbed a chunk of ice from the ground, raising it threateningly. "Last warning, Mutt." Anna froze, heart pounding. The street was empty. Lights in nearby windows flickered, but no one came. No one wanted trouble with the Petrillo family, not in this town, not in this weather. But someone was already coming. Down the block, cutting through the blizzard with silent discipline, walked Evan, the 34-year-old dark-haired Navy SEAL in his military green camouflage uniform. He was in town on extended leave, staying at a cabin on the outskirts, far from noise, far from people. Or so he'd hoped. His boots crunched through fresh snow, shoulders relaxed, but his eyes alert, the eyes of a man who never truly went off duty. He had heard the SUV sliding from half a block away. He saw the confrontation forming through the storm. And when he saw the Mafia heir raise a block of ice toward a woman half his size and a loyal dog protecting her, he changed direction instantly. The cold didn't touch him. The wind didn't slow him. He moved with quiet, dangerous purpose, snow swirling behind him like a cloak. Nico didn't notice him yet. He was too busy stepping toward Ranger again. "I said shut up," Nico shouted, lifting his boot. That was the moment Evan reached them. He appeared beside Nico like the storm had delivered him. "That's enough," Evan said, his voice calm and low, but carrying through the cold like a command no one could ignore. Nico spun around. Who the hell? Evan didn't raise a hand, didn't raise his voice. He simply stepped between Anna and the Mafia heir, planting himself in the snow with the stillness of a man carved from the winter itself. Anna stared, breath catching. Ranger stopped barking and stood beside Evan as if he instantly recognized him as an ally. Nico scoffed. "You think you can tell me what to do? You know who my father is?" Evan locked eyes with him, unmoving. "I don't care who your father is," he said quietly. "Put the ice down. Step back." For the first time that night, Nico hesitated. Because something in Evan's voice, something steady, unshakable, forged in places colder and darker than this snowy Montana street, told him he had just chosen the wrong target, the wrong night, and the wrong man to threaten. Evan, the 34-year-old dark-haired Navy SEAL in his green camouflage uniform, stood between the trembling widow and the Mafia heir as if the storm itself had placed him there. Snow drifted around them, thick and silent, coating the street in a pale glow under the street lamps. Nico, the 26-year-old black-haired Mafia heir in a fur-lined parka, tried to mask his hesitation with a scoff. "You don't get it," he said, forcing bravado into his voice. "Everyone in this town listens to my family." Evan didn't blink. Not tonight. Anna, the 32-year-old brown-haired widow in a thick wool coat, clutched Ranger's harness as the German shepherd pressed protectively against her leg. Ranger, the 3-year-old sable K9, kept his eyes trained on Nico, tail stiff, stance ready. Evan took one slow step toward Nico. "Get in your vehicle," he said, voice level and calm. "And leave this street." Something about that steady tone, firm enough to command, quiet enough to unsettle, finally broke through Nico's pride. His jaw clenched. For a second, he seemed ready to lunge again, but the sight of Evan's stance, unmoving and unshaken, stopped him cold. Nico muttered something under his breath and backed toward his SUV. Marcus, the 40-year-old blonde driver in a heavy winter coat, threw open the door from inside. "Boss, come on," Marcus said quickly, eyes darting toward Evan with caution. With one last glare, Nico climbed inside. The SUV peeled away, tires spitting snow as it fishtailed down the road and disappeared into the white haze. Silence settled over the street again, broken only by the soft patter of fresh snowfall. Anna let out a long, shaky breath. I didn't think anyone would come." Evan turned to her, his expression softening. "I was just in the right place at the right time." He knelt down slightly, offering his hand for Ranger to sniff. "He's loyal," he said, meeting the dog's steady gaze. Stood his ground. Ranger's tail wagged once, slow and grateful. "Thank you," Anna said quietly. I don't have anyone left. I don't know what would have happened without you. You handled more than you realize, Evan replied. But you shouldn't be out here alone. Let's get you somewhere warm. They walked together through the swirling snow toward the Briar Ridge Town Square, the second setting of the night. The square was beautiful, even in the storm line, with pine trees wrapped in white lights, the gazebo glowing softly at the center like a lantern in the dark. The snow-muted world felt peaceful again. Anna sat on a bench beneath the gazebo roof, Ranger curling at her feet. Evan remained standing, keeping watch on the quiet street out of habit. You're not from here, are you? Anna asked. No, Evan said. I'm staying at a cabin outside town while I'm on leave. Wasn't planning on getting involved in anything. Anna offered a faint smile. Life doesn't always follow plans. Evan nodded. No, it doesn't. But sometimes you step in because it's the right thing. Ranger nudged Anna's knee, sensing her nerves still hadn't settled. She placed a hand on his back. Is Nico going to come back? She asked. Not tonight, Evan replied. And by tomorrow morning, the sheriff will have my statement and yours. I'll make sure this gets handled. Anna looked up, eyes soft with gratitude. I don't know how to thank you. You already did, he said simply. Snow continued to fall in gentle waves, dusting their coats and settling along the edge of the gazebo roof. The world felt calmer now, the kind of quiet that only deep winter brings. After a moment, Evan exhaled and stepped back toward the path. You should head home. Ranger will get you there safe. I'll walk behind you until you're at your door. Anna stood. You don't have to do that. Maybe not, Evan said. But I want to make sure you're okay. They left the gazebo, moving through the glowing town square as the storm softened around them. Ranger walked proudly at Anna's side, every bit the guardian he was trained to be. At her driveway, Anna turned. Good night, Evan. He gave a short nod. Good night. You're safe now. As she and Ranger disappeared into the warm light of her porch, Evan looked out over the snowy street one last time. The quiet held steady, the danger gone. Then he turned and walked away through the falling snow, a silent protector blending back into the winter night. If this story of quiet courage spoke to you, share it with someone who could use a reminder that true strength protects, defends, and stands firm. Subscribe for more stories of resilience and heart. And if you believe compassion and courage still matter in this world, write Amen in the comments.